I just got home. I went to go leave my baby at my sister's house because she's gonna take care of her for today. So I just wanted to do the video that I promised you guys, and basically how I found out I was pregnant and how my parents reacted. I do want to give out like a message to all the single mothers out there. Mamas, you are warriors. You're awesome, you know? Like, you had the option to like give your baby an adoption, and you had the option to have an abortion, and you decided to keep your baby. And it's hard, it really is hard, and I'm with you on that. Like, I know how hard it is, and I have my partner now, but I didn't have him my whole pregnancy, and I understand how that feels. I really do. So y'all are literally warriors, because pregnancy is not easy on your own, and I know how that feels. I really do. So I found out I was pregnant on January 11th of 2022. But it didn't start all there. So me and my boyfriend started dating in May 18th, 2021. And we were just getting to meet each other, and you're like, man, I got pregnant that fast. Yeah. So according to my calculations, I got pregnant in November. I was having some health issues during this time in which I needed surgery because I had a Bartholin gland abscess, and that was in my vajayjay. So it was very painful. I had gone to the hospital 2 times. It was so painful. I was having sith baths. I would cry because it was so painful. So first time I went to the hospital, they drained it, and then it appeared again. Unfortunately, they went to the OBGYN, and since their drainage did not work, they were suggesting for me to have like a procedure. Let me see if I can look the name up. So, marsupialization, I think it's how you say it. I had a Bartholin gland abscess, so I had a surgical procedure done. I went under anesthesia. They did do a pregnancy test during before I had the procedure done that same day. It came out negative. I think it was too early to detect I was pregnant, so it came back negative. So I remember going into the surgery, and I fell asleep, and I woke up, and I was in so much pain. It wasn't that bad. After that, everything was fine, except that every time I would eat, I would have some problems with my stomach, in which I would feel like my food would get stuck, and it just would not feel good. During this time, I was also having cramps, so I just supposed it was like my period for some reason. So I was like, okay, it was just normal. And after I kept having these like stomach issues, I guess it was just like because I was nauseous, and I was like, hey, let's go to the hospital and figure things out. And I accepted to go, and this was now on January 11th. They did blood work, they did urine testings, and doctor comes in while my mom is in there, and he's like, you're pregnant. And I was like in shock. Obviously, my mom didn't know I was having sexual intercourse, so she was really surprised. And I was like, yeah, that's not possible. I can't be pregnant. Can you do more exams? And he was like, yeah, sure. And so they scheduled an ultrasound, and I waited for the ultrasound. My mom was like, if you didn't do anything, you shouldn't be scared. Obviously, inside of me, I knew I had sexual intercourse, and I should have talked to my mom about it, and I should have been more protective. Alright, sorry for the pause. As you can see, a car arrived right next to me, and I was kind of shy. So, I should have used protection. I should have been more careful when having sexual intercourse. And not only me, him. And honestly, if you don't want a kid, protect yourself during sexual intercourse. We all know this, simple and easy to do. There's also plan B if you really don't want a baby. Like, protect yourself, guys. It really is necessary. And I feel like they don't teach this enough in school because so many teens are getting pregnant. But it's like not something bad. Like, it happens, and I understand that it happened to me. And going back to the story, sorry. So they took me in to do an ultrasound, and they weren't allowed to tell me anything basically. So I would ask, I was like, so do you see like a fetus? am I pregnant? And they were like, well, we can't tell you, your doctor's gonna tell you. But I could kind of see from the corner of my eye the screen, and I could see the sac basically. And it did a normal ultrasound. I think they did an anal one, which is basically up your vagina, and they have a better view. I saw the sac and my heart dropped. Obviously, I'm not ready to be a mom. Like, no one's ready to be a mom, and especially not someone that's 18 years old, which I just was in shock. I wanted to live my life. I wanted to go to college. I wanted to go to concerts. I wanted to hang out with my friends, go shopping, do all these teen things, you know what I mean? So I was really in shock. And I cried 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 while I was getting dressed. And before I left the ultrasound section of the hospital, I asked the nurse to tell the other to tell the doctor if I was pregnant, to basically tell my mom to get out of the room so we can talk privately. And so I went back to my room. I sat there for a pretty long minute, and the doctor comes in and takes out my mom, and at this point I knew I was pregnant. He's like, yes, it's confirmed. You are pregnant. There's a fetus. You're 9 weeks pregnant. And I cried. I could not believe it. I was in shock. I really was. You just don't understand. I keep saying it, but I really, really was. And it's just a hard time because you weren't expecting a baby. And you're so young. I mean, you have so much to live for, and like you can barely take care of yourself. And how are you gonna take care of another baby? Like, that was in my mind. I was like, you can barely maintain yourself. You're not economically stable. You're not financially stable. You don't even have like a house. You don't have money. Like, you just don't. I don't have anything to provide to this baby. Like, this little human. So I thought about it and I thought about it, and then the nurse comes in with my discharge papers, and I asked her a question. I was like, if you were my position, I'm literally 18 years old. I'm not financially stable. I want to go to college. My parents will literally kill me. What would you do? And she was like, people, different women make different choices, but no one should be judged based on the choices you make. But I believe, like, if you keep the baby, there's gonna be difficult times, but you're gonna be able to do it. You look like a strong woman. And I cried and I cried because I didn't want to keep the baby. So I left and I just told my mom I had like a blood clot. I obviously told the father, and he went to the house and he already knew, but I asked him not to tell my parents that I was pregnant yet. I wasn't ready. It just wasn't emotionally, mentally ready to tell my parents. At this point, what was going on in my head was like, get out of the house, just like leave and don't say anything. So obviously this is the point where you're like, you're in so much shock, you just don't know how to think right. So I cried that night because it was also the rosario of my grandfather. So I cried the whole rosario, literally the whole rosario, like the whole rosario. And I mean, people just thought I was like sad because of my grandfather. But I was sad because I was going through so much. I was thinking about so much, and I decided to leave with the father of the baby, which lived 3 hours away. So the next morning I packed like all the essentials, like underwear, bras, clothing, and I told them I was gonna come to school. I remember seeing my mom, and inside of my head I knew it was probably gonna be the last time I saw her. And I thought about how much I was gonna miss her, how much I was gonna miss my dad, and how much I was gonna miss my sister. I cried and I cried and I cried. I get to school, and then I go to this teen pregnancy like consultation. I don't remember what it's actually called. I get to see my baby, and it was the most beautiful thing. I heard the heart, and I cried. I cried. So I saw the sack, and I heard the heartbeat, and I cried. The father was there at this point. He was happy, but he knew that I was going through a rough time, and he hugged me and was like, everything's gonna be fine. And we got on an Uber and we left. I turned off my location and my phone so they couldn't find me. And after I got to Greensboro, I turned it on and they called me and I told them I had left a letter. And they were really upset. They yelled at me. They said so many things to me. Like, I just don't even want to remember that moment. I really don't. It was so hard and harsh to me. I was being told so many things. Like, they thought better of me, that they thought I was smart, and they thought that they trusted me. And look at what I came up with. Like, I'm pregnant, and now I'm not gonna go to school anymore. Now I have this kid that I have to be responsible for. How am I gonna financially take care of it? How am I gonna take care of it? It was hard. It was really hard. I remember seeing this video. It made me cry. Let's see. It was this one. I mean, obviously I can't play it, but if you look Carta de un bebé a su mamá, and I heard it and I cried. Over there, the only thing I was thinking about is abortion, abortion, abortion. I was like, I have to have an abortion. Looked at so many clinics. Because at this point, oh, I forgot to mention, so go back. So when the doctor told me I was pregnant, they had seen a fetus. He also told me that the sac, I think, had some like type of blood, and it was a sign of miscarriage, possible miscarriage. So it was possible I could lose a baby. Okay, then going back forward, I already knew it was possible that I could lose a baby. But I was looking up clinics to see if I was like able to go in for an abortion pill, which you take like I think 2 pills, and you have an abortion. It's not surgical, and that was the best option for me. But I was already 9 weeks, and they did not have like available date, so I couldn't go in. And my only option at this point was having a surgical procedure, which I didn't want to have, because then I just can't do it to like my baby personally. Everyone out there like that do it, I don't judge you. Like, I know the situation and I know your thoughts, and everyone goes to different things that can be harsh. So my parents at this time had their time to cry and talk about stuff. They called me and they were like, come back, we're gonna allow you to stay here for a few months and go to school so you can finish your career. And so that's what I did. I came back and I went to school again. Everything wasn't the same. My parents didn't act the same. They didn't treat me the same. Obviously they were really hurt, and I understand that because I had felt them. I really had felt them. And I always feel so upset. But I don't regret anything because I don't have a baby. At this point, I'm back at the place I live. I was about to say the place. I'm going to school and I called some clinics here. Hey guys, sorry. So I was editing the video and I noticed I didn't end it, nor did I finish the story. So I was at the place that I called a few clinics here, and they all told me that the pill was no longer an option for me. So I decided I was going to get the surgical procedure, even though I didn't want to. That was like my last option, but I really didn't want to be pregnant at that moment. I was going through a rough time. So I scheduled a surgical procedure on February. I don't remember specifically what date, but I remember I scheduled it. And whenever you schedule a procedure, they have to call you, I think, 72 hours or 48 hours prior to your surgery. So I never received that phone call. Without that phone call, you cannot have the procedure. So I didn't get the phone call, so I didn't get the procedure. And basically in that phone call, they tell you basically what's going down, what's going to happen to you, what the process is, and how you're going to recover. Basically everything. So I didn't get that phone call, and I think it was just a sign from God telling me you can't have an abortion. You have to keep this baby. Everything happens for a reason. And didn't have the abortion. I had the baby by myself. At this time I didn't have my partner, so it was rough, but I made it out. Now I'm living with my partner and we have our baby. I'm going to school. I'm a full-time college student, and I really wanted to vlog for y'all guys. I'm still a teen mom. I am 19 years old. I had my baby when I was 19. I got pregnant when I was 18. So if you're going through this, just like tell me, DM me, tell me your situation, and I really want to help you guys. I want to guide y'all and how I somewhat solved my life. Not really. I'm still going through really tough times with school and stuff. But you're not alone. There's so many teen moms that, are going through the same situation as us. And it's not the end of the world, guys. A baby is a blessing, and everything happens for a reason. It really does. I really can't imagine my life without my baby at this point. So I'm very grateful I have her, and I'm grateful to God for giving her to me and not letting me have an abortion. When it comes to abortion, adoption, or just keeping the baby in general, I really believe in, like, you can't judge a girl based on their decisions. So I support whatever decision a woman decides, right? I went through the whole process of like wanting an abortion. I didn't really think of adoption, but I think that it's a very good idea to have an adoption if you really don't want a kid. But if you're thinking of an abortion, I thought the same thing as you. DM me, maybe we can talk it out. You know, whatever you decide is what you decide, and no one can change your mind, and no one has the right to judge you because it's your body. And yeah, so please subscribe to my channel, turn on your post notification. It would really mean a lot for me for y'all to turn on your post notification and subscribe to my channel. It would really help me out. I really want to build this community for us teen moms, and like anyone actually, even if you're not a teen mom, you're just looking at my videos. Like, I just wanted to inspire you guys. Obviously my editing skills are not there yet. I'm working on it, and I'm gonna keep working on it. I have a few videos that I want to upload for you guys. I don't know, I think this channel is just gonna be like vlogs and stuff. So I really, really, really hope that y'all enjoy it. Please subscribe to my channel and turn on your post notifications, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye.